Hey, I'm Jay, and I've got something to say about award travel. So, I'm learning that the best times to fly with a plan are 13 months um, vacation period. The best time to vacation period is when awards are first released, like 13 or 12 months before you need to go somewhere. So I am looking at a 6 to 8 hour cross country trip from East Coast to West Coast, Pittsburgh to California, and I want to do lie flat seats for that long of a trip. I like the little puddle jumper, like Embraer size planes. The first class is just like a barely bigger. Like there's no amenities, right? It's just a bigger seat. It's not. It's just a little bit of extra leg room, and it's not worth the extra cost. Like going from $2,000 to $1,200 for a couple of inches of leg room is not my idea of value. Going from cramped like 4 across economy seats to fully reclining lie flat, like half wall, little bit of privacy, an actual place to eat your dinner, and the food quality is different between the two cabins. Like that's a little different. So I don't know if United and American have like retrofits some of their planes so that there's less premium first class in transcontinental U.S. domestic travel, but like I was having trouble finding the wide body planes for domestic travel for where I was going. So like one, it's either cost prohibitive because 100,000 points per person each way for a family. Like I'm not going to get 600,000 points in the next year. I've maybe gotten 400,000 points this past year and spent them along the way, right? And like by the time I get 600,000 points in the same ecosystem to get like some of them, step back, then it's just going to be ridiculous. And it's weird because I went to San Francisco in 2016. I went to San Francisco and got business class tickets for like 35 to 40,000 points from Pittsburgh to San Francisco. And I'm looking Pittsburgh to LA or Pittsburgh to Orange County, and it's like 100,000 points. It's like double. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time swallowing it. I'm trying to. Why I'm looking now, I want to do it a year in advance. So I want to book in the summer, but I want to plan out my credit cards for the year. So I need to see which airlines have award availability, in the summer, and maybe there'll be more. Well, I can't find. So I'm looking a year out, right? I'm looking at next November, which is that year out, and there's not a lot. So it's not like the award availability is just all used up because I'm looking at the summer for this year because I'm further than a year out. I tried April, I tried August, I tried November, and like Flying Blue has nothing on Delta. Delta has some stuff, but it's really expensive. It's like 150, 180,000 points. That's why 10X Travel keeps saying like Delta's the shiny card, right? Like, okay, it looks. You read the card, it looks nice. The point multipliers look nice. The welcome bonus looks okay, but then you realize you can't get anything with it. Like unless you're using it for free check bags and for status, like buying status. And I don't fly enough to buy status. So, that's why 10X Travel says Delta cards are shinies, because Delta first class points are domestically anyhow are ludicrous. And so I assume that like Flying Blue points are better for going to Western Europe. So I'm planning ahead. So I think I found Avios are transferable between Avios partners. So even though British Airways doesn't seem like it has availability, British Airways wanted me to go from JFK to London Heathrow to LA, like twice as long, right? Like a 14-hour trip instead of a 6-hour trip. British Airways doesn't have award availability, but they have a lot of transferableness. So you could transfer from all the major credit card carriers to British Airways. You can transfer from British Airways to Qatar and Etihad, which are like Middle Eastern airlines, and they have award availability from 40 to 60,000 points. So on the lie flat seats. So I think what I have to do though is I have to reposition. So I kept hearing about repositioning, and I'm like, yeah, in the US they seem to have that down, and they do if you're booking through the airlines, right? It costs you more to book two separate tickets 90% of the time. I know there's some loopholes, like there's some stuff where people buy like extended tickets and then like fly the first leg and drop the second half, but airlines have cut down on that, and they'll like ban you from the airline for doing that nowadays. And it's rare. I haven't come across it. I'm sure there are places, because there's certain markets that are like underserved, so they reduce the prices, and the trips are like more stopovers or layovers or whatever. But I think for the most part, they've done away with that, and it's actually cheaper to buy the whole path of your trip than to reposition. But there isn't availability from Pittsburgh to LA. There is availability from JFK to LA. So I can book like a 7,000 point trip on a little puddle jumper in economy for the 1 hour from Pittsburgh to JFK, and then have a lie flat seat for the 6 hours from JFK to LA, which sounds a lot better to me. So I have a little spreadsheet to kind of show you like what all I've been looking at and what the point ranges are and stuff like that. So I'll go through that here in a second.
So here I kind of plotted out which airlines I can get the lie flat seats on and what the point ranges for that are. So you might be able to find a first class in American for 35,000, but it's like the puddle jumper with wide seat, no screen. I'm not doing that for 4.5 hours. So that's the first, actually I guess that's the first one there. So I have a little bit of red highlight where there are no lie flat seats. I couldn't find any lie flat seats on those legs. Or at least not in their like full range of stuff. So for the most part, like there's hubs at Chicago and Atlanta and Dallas Fort Worth and Houston and DC and JFK. But there's no lie flat seats going through Chicago. There's no lie flat seats going from American going from JFK. And then the United has some lie flat seats, but I already have a United card, so I'm not going to sign for another one for another year. And their award partners have nothing. Sorry, I'm going through construction right now because I'm driving while I'm talking. So when I'm going to drive from SNA, is like 25 minutes, and the drive from LAX is 45 minutes. So not that big of a difference between distance for us, but a significant distance in availability and points and stuff like that. So you can see right in this area. So you can see that 43 to 70K for business class on Qatar, 50 to 67K on Etihad, 50 to 80K on the British Airways. But their availability is a lot less. Like their dates are real. Like there could be one day a week where that's available on British. So I don't know if British is just more popular and gets bought out more, or if because it's like a direct transfer partner, where Qatar I have to transfer to British Airways and then transfer Avios from British to Qatar. But also possibly you might get a transfer bonus, right? So they're like Amex and Chase are always running transfer bonuses, especially Amex is always running transfer bonuses, like 20%, 30% bonus points when you transfer. So maybe there's some opportunity there. I looked at which card carriers have those airlines and might have business class availability. The other thing I looked at was I looked at Vegas and then paying cash for a power jumper to SNA, but there's no lie flat seats to Vegas that I can find. They're all smaller narrow body airplanes. I think Vegas is popular for like get away anywhere kind of trips. So I think they often have more smaller flights. So the same number of people, but more frequent flight times through Vegas. And those are pretty much the three options I can think of to try and find. So again, first class from East Coast to Vegas, and then puddle jumper. And I tried San Francisco, I tried San Diego, I tried it's not a hub, I don't think you're going to find lie flat seats on Sacramento either. So again, this is because I want to plan out my credit cards so that at the end of the summer I can book this